you're tracking two things. Let's like you got, see those guys juggle 3 balls in each hand, and then they bring them together and there's 6, and they bring them apart and there's 3. So you're working, part of your awareness is here, part of your awareness is here. At some point it all bridges together. Any questions? Okay, well, sorry, we took a little more time than thought. Who's got a client or a group that you are here and you've got some skin in the game and you want to get to here, but it's the way forward is cloudy and you'd like some insight? Do we have anybody? Now I've got them, but if I do it, we need to appoint somebody to facilitate. So that would be good. It would be good.
I was there. I stopped the job. I left it. I used to manage an agency, and I just sit there.
Well, there'd be something for you to look at, so that's good. Yeah.
I have an organization that I'm involved in, and considered, it's an association, and I'm considered leaving because my issues are so strong. But I'm not working with the organization, I mean, in terms of trying to help the organization. So it may not fit.
Well,
I mean, I'm not a
my question would be
facilitator.
to you, do you feel yourself having a sense of purpose and mission about helping groups change, transform? Do you have that thought?
This particular group or
your
in
life,
general?
yourself.
I do, but
Do you
But I'm
want
not
to
in
develop?
that.
Do you want to develop that skill?
yes, I do.
Okay. Would you like to work this issue using that group with this issue in yourself?
Sure, except that my role in the group is not to,
Remember your consciousness.
right, yes.
And the fact that if you are
Okay.
coming to this course and you have a systems thinking,
Yes.
you are now leaders, whether
Yes.
you want to be or not, because you have the leadership perspective, which 60% of the population does not have.
The
So,
answer's yes.
And it's directly related to the
Yeah.
topic, the name of the, why we're here.
well, it's yourself as, you're going to make a difference whether you want to or not, and just being more conscious. Yeah.
Again, I don't know if this belongs, but I'll just throw it out there. After this conference is over, we are hoping to grow something, and it's very big and it's very unclear, and I am discerning my relationship to that.
Okay. Something you want to.
It's a leadership question.
Leadership question.
It's
You want to
having
grow
to do with
something here.
constellations.
Yeah, it's about,
I'm sorry?
it's about this, is that what you mean?
The Constellations community, yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
this.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
That
let's do that.
includes us all, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of hesitant to go that way because I know if this is, it's kind of like working, I'd rather take something not in the room, and it's easier to just a classroom experience with it. So if we take something in the room, we have a little more biased.
Everybody's issues.
Yeah,
Instead of
everybody-
one person's.
Yeah.
Although I do have
So
to.
I've been consulting with the government for the last 8 years. And I thought I was done, and then I'd go back, and then I thought I was done, and then I'm back. So I'm back again. So my work is not done with them just yet. But it's riveting with conflict, which initially was what attracted me. But I've since changed. But now that you're doing this, and I'm looking at, well, where am I resonating with them now? Because it's changed. So just want to throw that
Okay,
as an
good.
option.
All right, good, yeah. No, go ahead, and then
I work in a small university department, and the faculty tend to individualize, create their curriculum, and I brought it up with my chairperson to, as a team approach, cohesively develop a curriculum as a core group, and brought that up with the chairperson, and now it's just, let's talk about it again soon. That's where it's at.
Okay, what's at risk for you? Is there anything at risk for you in this?
It's the risk, I'm staff and they're faculty, and there is the kind of risk where I'm stepping into a leadership role which I may not belong, and but I also feel called to speak of what I
Okay, okay, thank you, yeah.
Well, I also work at a small university,
Uh-huh.
And I'm being asked to be on a panel to discuss hiring somebody full-time for a position that they're clearly not qualified for, but because of the politics of the school, this person is getting pushed forward to do this work. And because the politics of the school is getting quite heated, yes, thank
Okay,
you.
okay, we have something here. I'd like to use you, but, because there is definitely a risk, I sense, for you. Yes.
I have a question. I don't really know if it's something I want to do here, but I'm curious. I work in the hospital and I also work in a business practice. And we, myself and the director have actually thought about looking at a constellation, the place itself. Would this be a way, for 2 years in a row, we basically had a fire in the building and wondering, and they were like pretty much to the day. Well, one organization had a flood one year, so we kind of had 3 locations. One had a flood exactly a year later, there was a fire, and then exactly another.
There's something systemic
So
in the system.
would this be like doing a?
I would do something different with
Yeah,
that,
okay.
but we would look at it, we just set it up, look at it, something, we'd find a little more about
Yeah,
the
we
history
thought
of the
about it.
organization and the people there.
Okay.
But I think it's a little different issue. But I'm thinking over here, but yeah, let's put it all in, because when we do it, you all are gonna get some connection to it. So let's hear it, we'll put it in the space. Chris, and then this gentleman, this gentleman.
Well, this is in the past, so I may not be relevant, but
Yeah.
I was a social worker and then an assistant principal in the Baltimore City Public School System for 16
Wow, that's a
years.
good job, yeah.
So, in fact, I moved from one to the other by not allowing myself to be perceived as staff. Anyway, I tried to implement ropes courses. I tried to set up teams that worked on an equal level, principals, social workers, anybody who was there on the team. I did an awful lot of stuff, but I find myself all of a sudden 16 years of frustration and like, how do you actually really redirect a system that has some serious, because you're a government agency and you're regulated, the lateral thinkers win the day every day.
Yeah.
And so what the hell do you do now?
Yeah.
Every day.
How do you, from your position, make a change in that organization?
Yeah.
That's a great one too, but I think we'll start here. If we have time, I'd like to look at that too. That's a really great one. You had something?
Yeah. I was touched by both of your stories. I'm in, I can't remember what you want to call them. I'm on action committees at 2 different universities to deal with racial justice issues. And so this is also a question for you. There's a lot of deadlocking, a lot of infighting, a lot of replicating hegemony that folks are trying to oppress, trying to expose and change. So I'm not coming in from outside. I'm part of the system and I'm in a collective. And how do I move and affect change and be a positive change agent in the system when there's still power hierarchies, that I'm submissive to and threatened by? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to become a scapegoat, stand out and do something, and then become the lightning rod for all the...
You picked up the great conundrum that to be a change leader is also to be at risk of being, get the retribution, the Empire Strikes Back, you are at risk. Because you're in the system. Now, if, as a consultant outside the system, we know that we're expendable, but it also gives us the freedom to speak truth to power. That's our job. If we're not upsetting somebody, comforting the afflicted, afflicting the comfortable, then we know that we're. But for you on the inside, it's a whole different ballgame. So yeah, that's a very powerful thing to look at. And let's put that one in here too. You wanted an answer?
I'd love, if a quick word of advice would be helpful, yeah.
Can I just ask, I want to make sure we have time for our constellation, so I just.
Yeah, I appreciate you. That's a rich discussion here. We'll hear from one more and then we'll get started. Quick word of advice. How many people can relate to just what was said?
Oh, yeah.
So I want you to look around and look at these people and go talk to them. And share your story and hear their story and connect on that level of where do I put a stake in the ground and speak my truth, and where do I protect myself and be discerning and discrimination and, valor, what's that, the better part of valor is,
Discretion.
Discretion.
Where do I use discretion? Right, because,
Same thing.
you don't need to needlessly damage yourself, but you do need to live in integrity with yourself. So there's a fine line in that. And so have that conversation with them, because no one can give you the answer, but as you explore it and discuss it within yourself. And also look in your family system, where is this fine line of speaking truth to power and being crushed for it? Where does that relate to it, and how is there something I'm loyal to in my family system here that I'm replicating? I think, where are you from?
Berkeley.
And where is your family from?
Different places around the Mediterranean.
Yeah, okay. There's something probably about speaking truth to power in that system, and you're in that same. But it's just showing up again.
And surviving the process.
Huh?
And surviving the process.
Yeah,
Yes.
surviving. Yeah, you had a quick comment. We can throw all this in.
Oh yeah, I was throwing something in.
Huh?
I was throwing something in.
All right.
So I'm the very top of a medium to large size business, where if you go by the American metrics, it's wildly successful and expanding tremendously. And where it is that my vision for what I want to have happen with the company, well, one, it's outpacing the business. The business hasn't been catching up. And also it's like kind of outpacing myself too, and as me being the top of it. And essentially right now it's me over here on one side, and the business is 100% running itself as I've been working on myself. But now I want to get back into that, running the actual business instead of the business running itself.
And what's-
Company is not, I'm not even that, so,
So your vision outpaced you.
yes.
All right. Your relationship to your vision sounds very intriguing to me.
Yes.
And as something almost outside of you that's outpacing you. So I think there's something to look at about who the vision represents really in your life. And where is that relationship, an alienation of being outpaced?
Yeah, well, what happened is, so I got into business because I wanted to be successful, because that meant stuff to me. Like, oh, I need to be successful so I can be whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, good son, whatever we want it to be. But then now that there's nobody on the planet that can say I'm not successful, that's where I just picked a different vision.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, now I'm saying I'm not successful kind of thing.
And discovered that was not the way.
Well, there's everybody's got the constellation running in their head right now. So you can pick somebody and set up a constellation, and who will set up a constellation for this gentleman at lunchtime, or if you want, because there's a piece of work for you. It's a little different from the use of self model that you want to go in. It would be a standard constellation. But look around the room and see if somebody would be your partner here and help you out with that.